Jessica Simpson opens up about early career struggles and finding her true musical identity. Jessica Simpson has recently opened up about her early experiences in the music industry and how the competitive nature of pop music in the early 2000s shaped her career. The 44-year-old singer-songwriter shared intimate details about her struggles to find her musical identity in an industry dominated by powerhouse pop stars like Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. In a new interview with Rolling Stone, Simpson reflected on the intense pressure she faced as a young artist and how it ultimately led her to discover her true musical voice later in life. The pressure of competing with pop icons. Jessica Simpson burst onto the music scene in the late 1990s, during a time when teen pop was at its peak. Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera were the undisputed queens of the genre, with their catchy pop anthems, polished performances, and massive fan bases. Jessica, who possessed a powerhouse voice and a wholesome image, was often marketed as a softer alternative to the more provocative styles of Britney and Christina. But despite her talent, Simpson always felt like she was struggling to carve out her own place in the industry. "I was never gonna win because I had someone like Britney and Christina ahead of me who were selling so many more records," Simpson confessed in the interview. "It felt like no matter how hard I worked, no matter how much I practiced, I was always going to be seen as second best. Britney and Christina were breaking records and topping the charts left and right. I just couldn't compete with that." Jessica's debut album, Sweet Kisses, was released in 1999 and featured her breakout single, I Wanna Love You Forever. While the song was successful, reaching number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, the album's overall performance paled in comparison to the monumental success of Britney's Baby One More Time and Christina's self-titled debut album. The pressure to replicate their success weighed heavily on Jessica, and her label, Sony, pushed her toward a more commercial pop sound in an effort to boost her sales. Struggling with the industry's expectations. Jessica revealed that from the beginning, her career was shaped more by the industry's expectations than her own artistic instincts. Pop music in the early 2000s was characterized by high-energy dance routines, sexy music videos, and meticulously crafted public images. Britney and Christina had set the template for success, and record labels were eager for their artists to follow the same formula. Jessica, however, felt like the mold didn't quite fit her. "I didn't want to dance, I didn't want to wear a head mic," she admitted. "It just didn't feel natural to me." But at the time, that's what the industry wanted. If you weren't dancing and putting on a show, you weren't going to make it as a pop star. Despite her reservations, Jessica complied with the demands of her label. She was determined not to disappoint the people who had invested in her career, even if it meant sacrificing her artistic integrity. "I didn't want to let them down, and I felt like I was constantly letting people down," she said. "Even myself, probably because I wasn't singing words I wrote. I was performing songs that were handed to me, not songs that came from my heart." Her sophomore album, Irresistible, 2001, leaned further into the mainstream pop sound, with up-tempo dance tracks and sexually charged lyrics that were designed to compete with Britney and Christina's music. The album's title track became a moderate hit, but Jessica admitted that the more commercial direction left her feeling creatively unfulfilled. Finding her own voice. It wasn't until years later that Jessica began to reclaim control over her music. Her manager at the time encouraged her to start writing her own songs and exploring the kind of music that she personally connected with. This was a pivotal moment for Jessica, who had always viewed herself more as a vocalist than a songwriter. "For so long, I thought my job was just to sing the songs that other people wrote for me," she explained. "But once I started writing, I realized that I had something to say. I had my own stories to tell." In 2020, Jessica created a 12-hour playlist on Spotify featuring some of her favorite artists and songs. The playlist included tracks from Brandi Carlile, Patty Griffin, the Alabama Shakes, and Rosetta Stone, artists known for their authentic storytelling and emotionally charged lyrics. "When I listened to that playlist, I realized that I wanted to make music that sounded like that," Jessica said. "I wanted to create music that felt true to me, not music that was designed to chase trends or fit into a particular mold." A new beginning in Nashville. Inspired by her newfound creative clarity, Jessica made a bold decision to leave behind the glitzy pop world and move to Nashville, a city known for its deep roots in country and Americana music. In Nashville, Jessica began writing and recording with J.D. McPherson, a respected singer-songwriter and producer known for his work with legendary artists like Robert Plant and Alison Krauss. Jessica described the experience of working with live musicians in a studio setting as transformative. "I'd only worn headphones and had a track in my ear," she recalled. "I'd never got to feel the unearthing of a song and breaking it down. Being in the room with musicians and creating music from scratch was a completely different experience. It made me feel like a real artist. Jessica's collaboration with McPherson resulted in the creation of Nashville Canyon, a project that reflects her new musical identity. The songs are rooted in blues, country, and folk influences, a departure from the glossy pop sound of her earlier albums. For the first time in my career, I'm making music that feels like me, she said. I'm not trying to compete with anyone or fit into a specific genre. I'm just writing from the heart and making music that I'm proud of. Embracing authenticity. Jessica's journey to creative independence has been a long and often difficult one. In the hyper-competitive world of early 2000s pop music, artists were under immense pressure to conform to industry standards. But Jessica's decision to break away from that mold and forge her own path is a testament to her resilience and artistic integrity. There was a time when I thought I had to be like Britney or Christina to succeed, Jessica admitted. But now I know that success isn't about record sales or chart positions. It's about being true to yourself. Jessica also credits motherhood with helping her gain perspective on her career and artistic choices. Becoming a mom made me realize what's really important, she said. My kids don't care how many records I've sold, they care about whether I'm happy and fulfilled. And that's what I'm focused on now. As Jessica continues to explore her new musical direction, she's excited about the future. I don't know where this path will lead me, she said. But I know that I'm finally doing what I love, and that feels like success to me. Jessica's story is a reminder that true success comes not from external validation, but from finding the courage to follow your own path, even when the industry tells you otherwise. After years of trying to fit into the pop machine, Jessica Simpson has finally found her voice, and the world is ready to listen.